looks like you decorated it.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Oh, I thought it was meant to be that.
Scott, how are you?
Good, how are you? Long time no see.
Okay. Just saying.
And we get the pink
Something
copies.
else I
Yeah,
want.
you guys get the, it's slowly faded. That's
Thank
what
you,
happens
sir.
when you get
So this is a special presentation because we don't show it.
What about you?
Is this yours or mine?
I don't think we got one.
I didn't get one, that's all right, I'll get it later.
Dominic didn't give you one?
Brent.
Sir, is this just during the audience comments time?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I was gonna say, I didn't see anything for special.
No, I didn't have
So then I
adequate
need
time
extras?
to give the 2 week check.
I didn't
Thank
get
you.
one, does he have extras?
Okay.
Okay, we're
That's what we
here
got.
and we're actually overtime a little bit. Is everyone ready to begin?
Oh, okay. I'll get later.
You ready, Wes?
Yes, sir, thank you.
Okay. So, thank you. If anyone and everyone has brought their communication device, if you would please turn it off or silence it for the meeting, greatly appreciate it. 3,
I'm all set.
and we now have the high sign. Good evening and thank you and welcome to the Thursday, March 22nd, 2018 regular session of the Xenia City Council. We've been in special session since 5 o'clock this evening discussing a variety of events such as alcohol at special events, use of public spaces for special events, on-street, over-the-street parking banners, and parking enforcement. So we've had a full agenda and are now ready to begin our regular session. At this time, we will ask for an invocation by Mr. Steve Fife from Eastmont Free Will Baptist Church in Dayton, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance led by Vice President Wallace. If you would please rise with me for the invocation and pledge, please.
Let's all remember the reason for the season is our Lord Jesus Christ's resurrection. Easter is coming up, and I want to wish everybody happy Easter. So let's all pray. Heavenly Father God, we come to you on the behalf of the city Xenia. Lord, we ask the Lord that you would be with our city leaders, our state leaders, and our world leaders. And Lord, we ask you, Lord, that you would be with us in this meeting. God, guide us in your directions, Lord, and God, be with the city council as they make the right decisions for the citizens of Xenia. We never fail to praise in your holy name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much, Mr. Fife and Vice President Wallace. May I have roll call, please?
Vice President Wallace.
Here.
Councilman Scrivens.
Here.
Councilman Lauterbach.
Here.
Councilman Smith.
Here.
Councilman Dean. Here. Mayor Mays.
Here.
President Engel.
Here. Thank you. May I have a motion, please, for approval of minutes, first for our March 8th, 2018 regular session?
So moved, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. Have a motion by Councilman Lauterbach. Second, please.
Second.
Seconded by the mayor. Any discussion or question on this set of minutes, please? Seeing none, roll call.
Vice President Wallace.
Aye.
Councilman Scrivens.
Aye.
Councilman Lauterbach.
Aye.
Councilman Smith.
Aye.
Councilman Dean. Aye. Mayor Mays.
Aye.
President Engel.
Aye.
Motion carried.
And although we had a special session on March 15th, those are quite complex minutes. We're going to hold those in abeyance until our next meeting to approve them. At this time, we would normally have special presentations, but we have none scheduled this evening. So we have an opportunity for audience comments now. Anyone caring and wishing to address the Xenia City Council, if you would please step to the podium, provide us your name and address, and limit your comments 4 to 5 minutes, please.
I'm going to try my best to make it snappy. First off, my name's Cody Branham, and I live at 320 Colorado Drive. I'd first off like to thank City Council and administration for allowing me to speak tonight. I already introduced myself, but I graduated from Xenia High School in 2011. I graduated from Central State University with a bachelor's degree in mathematics in 2015. I was a past Xenia Public Service employee from April of 2017 to August 2017. Statements I've heard around Xenia. Xenia citizens do not trust the city because they feel that their tax money isn't being spent wisely. Xenia residents do not want to pay more taxes. Xenia residents want better streets. Xenia residents want the services they deserve. How can we fix these issues, you ask? Stop. Stop wasteful spending. Think before we spend. Was this building a need or was it a want? Did you know that the city has a paving box? The purchase of the paver and roller was authorized by City Council on April 27, 2006 for little over $94,000. The paving box has seen minimal use, has been sitting around rusting for years. Why waste money on it to begin with? But if you buy it and decide not to use it, then why not sell it? Did you know the city has a brand new easement machine with the plastic still on it? The purchase of the portable sewer easement machine was authorized by City Council on July 25th, 2013 for just below $62,000. Why do we still have it? This is an actual picture from Xenia Public Service Department taken last year by me. Plastic's still in the hose. There's a box of parts still sitting on the front of the trailer. Other info for council to look into. A brand new backhoe trailer was purchased last year when there was no direct need. Is it worth keeping spares? Selling of the old street sweeper that is minimally used? Selling the old vac truck that was approved for replacement at the last city council meeting on March 8th, 2018. Why do we need it? Durapatcher and storage tank, authorized by City Council on March 25th, 2004 for a little less than $80,000. Maintenance cost, roughly $39,000. Amount spent on tar. This caused me to rise just a little bit. 2015, only $5,000. 2016, almost $18,000. 2017, $17,000. Why was there such a disconnect in 2015 and 2016? The Public Service Department also has no data on the cost of the gravel for operating the machine. So this machine basically, it takes tar and gravel, mixes it together. Purchase of the new Durapatcher heat tank. Originally when the Durapatcher was purchased, it came with a storage tank to hold the emulsion or tar. City Council authorized a purchase last year for a new Durapatcher heater tank of $28,000. The new tank used, and it's basically just to store their tar. Are we wasting money by continuing to utilize this machine? Streets are not improving. They're rougher after the Durapatcher material is laid. The material doesn't last, as stated by Councilman Wallace last council meeting when he commented about the patches on Church Street. The gravel is draining down into our storm sewers that are supposedly failing us drastically. Pictures of a driveway approach. You can see all the gravel left from the Durapatcher. Also, just for reference, and you guys can feel free to pass this around, this was actually out of that same approach. This is basically material that looks like I went to Phillips Sand and Gravel and I purchased it. This is off Xenia Streets from the Durapatcher. What are alternative options? Cold patching, hot patching, compacting or hand tamping those patches into place. A lot of times city employees, not dissing them in any way, shape, or form, they run over those holes with the trucks. They don't take the time to hand tamp those in. Crack sealing, soil sealing, repaving the street. As you can see, of course, I included a picture of an old-fashioned hand tamp. I also included a picture of a hot box. I recommend City Council eventually down the line maybe approving for a hot box. City of Xenia has no way of going and getting fresh asphalt and keeping it hot. City of Xenia only has a 550 with a heated bed in it that may be good for cold patch. It's not good for actually keeping hot asphalt hot. I asked council and administration to try to bridge the gap between the city administration building and public service department. Communicate freely to make smart decisions. Talk to public service employees, new and old, 109s to 112s and above, to see whether the purchase is feasible, well-liked, will get the job done. Look into job assignments and schedules for all employees. Are some working harder than others? Is the assignment and the amount of manpower adequate to complete the task, or is it overkill? Are we better off to contract some things rather than complete them in-house? No, I'm not saying that we should outsource our employees. No way, no shape, no form. A good example of that was our citywide street signs. We had to go and replace them all with reflective street signs. At the end of the day, did we spend more money in manpower making those signs? Did we spend more money in manpower in hanging those signs when those guys could have been fixing or working on our streets? Complete projects from start to finish. I understand emergencies come up, whether that be main breaks, sewer backups, but there is no reason not to complete a task to the best of their ability. I am tired of being negative. Let's praise our city and public service department. Last year, the new splash pad was a hit. The pavilion at Xenia Station was remodeled, painted, and new electric was installed by our public service department. Parks are starting to look like parks again. After the public service department took the mowing back in-house, the grass is cut weekly, the trees are mulched, sidewalks are edged. Sol Arnovitz Frisbee golf course was completed. New walking path project was also completed through the woods with nice new bridges. The Public Service Department successfully installed new water mains around the city, just to name a few, into Murray Hill to South Patton and Orient Avenue. Many catch basins this past year have been rebuilt by the Public Service Department. Last week, I feel like there was a little bit of a word in the last meeting that kind of stated that we don't necessarily rebuild them all the way. I have seen catch basins rebuilt by Xenia public staff, basically from the bottom up. Sterling Green Park has a new shelter, walking paths, and a full-size basketball court. Penn Station Rapid Fire Pizza open. The Reach project has broke ground, just to name a few. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Would anyone else care to come and address the Xenia City Council this evening, please?
Sign in afterwards. Jonathan Woods, and I live at the shelter.
Sir, name and address, please.
The address at the shelter, 2nd Street, I think down past the fire station and cemetery.
Bridges
Not
of Hope.
Yes,
Bridges of Hope.
that's correct.
Thank you.
I'm interested in your grain silo, right off the bike path. I want to do an art installation. I understand that you could recoup around $4,800 from the owner, and the county can recoup about $4,600. So if the foreclosure happens, it would default to the city, as far as I understand, if you made a claim. Otherwise, it would default to the state. The owner's been absent for probably 4 years and has not paid any taxes in 8 years. I know the comment section isn't the appropriate time. Maybe a hearing of some sort to address that property.
Where specifically is the property? I didn't hear you.
Lehman, 98 Lehman, right down the road, right off the creek.
The grain silo.
Yeah, right off the
Yeah.
bike path.
Yeah.
Towards Teeterville. So, I mean, that's something you guys would be interested in. I've seen other restorations in other cities, and it's much more effective to do something artistic than to try to turn dead space into a business, at least initially. So that's about it. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone else care to come and address the Xenia City Council this evening, please?
Good afternoon. My name is Tom here, live in Wilberforce here. I've been around here since 1954. I came in running from Georgia for the promised land. I owned the East End drive-through street up here. You know, the East End drive-through where you used to come through and get your beer and wine. Built the post office out of Wilberforce back during the tar 80s. I was in that bad boy. So to make a long story short, I own a 1986 5.6 SE Mercedes-Benz. On February 7th, on the 147 North Detroit Street there, Max between Yeah, it was 7 a.m. and 9 a.m., 7 p.m. to 9 a.m. At which time a snowplow came through during the time of bad weather. Can you hear me? And hit my car. Knocked my bumper off my car and cracked my windshield. So I came here and I was told about a city manager to send pictures of the car and this sort of thing. I have those here to show evidence where it was hit by the snowplow. But to make a long story short, I was turned down. So I'm here to see what can be done about this because I had to go ahead and pay for the bumper to be repaired. And I got the receipt showing where it was done. I have pictures, which I was asked to show, if you care to see them, show the car. And so far, I've been turned down, so I'm here at your mercy. So I need to get my windshield fixed before the windshield comes through and kill me. So that's the first of the situation, but I have all the evidence that's needed here, just in case you need that information. So, I'm at your mercy. The car is outside now. If you want to check the pictures, I got pictures of the car. And hopefully there's something to be done about this. Thank you very much.
Would anyone else care to come and address the Xenia City Council this evening, please? Seeing none, we will move to our old business portion of the agenda. First item is ordinance 2018-09, a second reading, which establishing a 15-minute loading and unloading zone and authorizing the erection of loading/unloading signs in front of the Xenia Preschool at 425 Edison Boulevard, originally introduced by Councilman Dean.
I have no comments on it.
Thank you. Would you care to move its passage?
Yeah, move to passage.
Move for passage by Councilman Dean. Second, please.
I'll second it.
Seconded by the Vice President. Any discussion or question on this motion, please? Seeing none, roll call.
Vice President Wallace.
Aye.
Councilman Scrivens.
Aye.
Councilman Lauterbach.
Aye.
Councilman Smith.
Aye.
Councilman Dean.
Aye.
Mayor Mays.
Aye.
President Engel.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Last item under our old business is Resolution 2018-H, also a second reading, amending Appendix 2 of the Employee Benefits Manual, non-union wage ranges of the City of Xenia, Ohio, introduced by Vice President Wallace.
I'll move the approval.
Move for passage.
Passage.
Second, please.
Second.
Seconded by the mayor. Discussion or question on this item, please.
I would just like to say I'm in favor of it. I wouldn't be if it say that it's just a wage raise for all employees, but because it's a 2% to the range at which we can give people wages if they are deserving of an added wage increase, then it's fine.
Thank you. Any other comments, please? Seeing none, roll call.
Vice President Wallace.
Aye.
Councilman Scrivens.
Aye.
Councilman Lauterbach.
Aye.
Councilman Smith.
Aye.
Councilman Dean.
Aye.
Mayor Mays.
Aye.
President Engel.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you. This time, we normally have a section for public hearings, but we have none scheduled this evening, so we will move on to new business. We have several items, the first being Ordinance 2018-10, requested as an emergency, amending Ordinance 2018-03 to provide appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures for the City of Xenia, Ohio for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2018, and declaring an emergency. Mr. City Manager, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Ordinance 2010-18 is a recommended emergency ordinance seeking supplemental appropriations for the Progress Drive Rehabilitation Project set for construction this spring. As council will recall, in 2016, the city applied for and subsequently was approved to receive grant funding for the rehabilitation of Progress Drive. The city was awarded a project amount not to exceed $504,680. However, the original bid for the project was only $495,989, with a state share of $366,964.52 based on the 74-26% split in our application. Over the ensuing 2 winters, weather conditions have taken a toll on this roadway, and now as we approach the start of the project, final engineering has revealed the need for an expanded scope of work, thus requiring additional appropriations of funds to ensure that the project is completed properly. Additional grant dollars are available from the state based on the original award amount to cover the new cost up to the $504,680 as previously mentioned. Staff recommends approval of an ordinance as an emergency this evening to appropriate the new state share at a total of $504,680 in order to have all the funding that we need in place for the initiation of the Progress Drive Rehabilitation Project.
Thank you very much. May I have a motion, please, as an emergency?
So moved.
Moved by Councilman Louderback. Second, please.
Second.
Seconded by, excuse me, Councilman Scrivens. Terribly sorry. Any discussion or question on the motion, please? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Vice President Wallace.
Aye.
Councilman Scrivens.
Aye.
Councilman Louderback.
Aye.
Councilman Smith. All right. Councilman Dean.
Aye.
Mayor Mays.
Aye.
President Ingle.
Thank you.
Motion
Yes.
carried.
Our next item is Resolution 2018-I, authorizing the city manager to purchase vehicles from Key Chrysler for the Public Service Department's Maintenance Division. Mr. City Manager.
Resolution 2018I is recommended this evening to authorize the purchase of 2 vehicles as indicated from Key Chrysler right here in Xenia. The purchase of these trucks has been planned in our 5-year CIP, and funding was approved as part of the 2018 budget. One of these trucks is slated for use with our bulk trash pickup program that was instituted in 2017, while the other truck will replace one that's currently used by the city's electrician. As is our standard practice for this type of purchase, our public service staff solicited bids via the Ohio Department of Administrative Services state purchasing program. In addition to this, however, the Ohio Revised Code Section 125.04C authorizes the purchase of supplies or services from another party instead of participation through the state purchasing program without competitive bidding when those supplies can be purchased at an equivalent, on equivalent terms, conditions, and specifications at a lower price. With this in mind, and upon examining the bids we received, our staff opted to solicit a separate bid from Key Chrysler in the hopes of receiving a competitive price that was equal to or lower than the bid price we received from the ODAS program. Staff was pleased to receive a competitive price quote that was less than that which we received from the state program. At these price points, the city will save money while keeping this business local through a purchase at Key Chrysler. The state bid price of the trash pickup vehicle with the needed options was $33,864, whereas Key's price was $32,960. For the other vehicle, with the needed options, the state bid price was $33,643, and Key Chrysler's quote was $28,664. With this information in mind, staff recommends this evening that council authorize the purchase of the 2 vehicles from Key Chrysler under the terms as stipulated.
Thank you very much. I am seeking an introduction from one of my colleagues, please.
So introduced.
Introduced by the Vice President. Thank you very much. Now we have an administrative motion authorizing a transfer of funds, authorizing the city manager to execute change order number 1 with John R. Jurgensen Company for the South Progress Drive improvements and establishing a new not-to-exceed project cost of $733,704.48. Mr. City Manager.
Related to the prior item under the ordinances, and as indicated in the agenda report, staff is recommending a series of actions via administrative motions authorizing the transfer of funds, the execution of change order number 1 with John R. Jurgensen, and establishing the new not-to-exceed project cost for the the Progress Drive rehab project of $733,704.48. The agenda report does detail these actions and the necessity which are needed to align all the funding and adjust the authorization to execute the contract work. Staff recommends the 3 administrative motions be approved.
Thank you very much. May I have a motion, please, for the first recommended action?
Motion, sir.
Motion by Councilman Scrivens. Second, please.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Louderback. Discussion or question on this first motion? Seeing none, roll call.
Vice President Wallace.
Aye.
Councilman Scrivens.
Aye.
Councilman Louderback.
Aye.
Councilman Smith.
Aye.
Councilman Dean.
Aye.
Mayor Mays.
Aye.
President Engel.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Now, a motion, please, under Section 2, authorizing the city manager to equip the said vehicles.
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Scrivens, second, please.
I'll second it.
Seconded by the Vice President. Discussion or question on the second motion, please. Seeing none, roll call.
Vice President Wallace.
Aye.
Councilman Scrivens.
Aye.
Councilman Lauterbach.
Aye.
Councilman Smith.
Aye.
Councilman Dean.
Aye.
Mayor Mays.
Aye.
President Engel.
I'm terribly sorry, I'm on the wrong item. I'm terribly sorry.
We all agreed to it.
We all agreed to it.
I knew what he was talking about. We all knew what he meant, but I just thought that's not the order we were in.
It's the change order,
We
yes.
passed it now, haven't we?
Did 3 items.
Yes.
Madam Law Director, now that I've completely lost my place in the agenda, my apologies, do I need to go back and seek motions correctly for these items?
Please.
Thank you. My apologies.
Change
First-
order number 1?
First, a
one's
motion
okay.
to authorize
First
the,
one's okay, your transfer, the transfer fund, that's fine.
that's fine.
Would
So
reset for
let's
this
go for the
motion.
second one.
We're back here, right?
Yes.
Okay. I'm with you now.
Okay.
Request a motion authorizing the city manager to execute change order 1 with John R. Jurgensen.
That's what I, motion.
And motion by Councilman Scrivens, and a second, please.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Lauterbach. Now, discussion or question on this motion, please. Roll call, please.
Vice President Wallace.
Aye.
Councilman Scrivens.
Aye.
Councilman Lauterbach.
Aye.
Councilman Smith.
Aye.
Councilman Dean.
Aye.
Mayor Mays.
Aye.
President Engel.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Now that I'm on the right page, the final motion, which establishes a not-to-exceed total cost of the project, $733,704.48.
So moved.
Moved by the mayor, second, please.
And I'll second that one as well.
Seconded by the vice president. Discussion? Roll call.
Vice President Wallace.
Aye.
Councilman Scrivens.
Aye.
Councilman Lauterbach.
Aye.
Councilman Smith.
Aye.
Councilman Dean.
Aye.
Mayor Mays.
Aye.
President Engel.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you.
700.
All right, thank you, because I thought for a minute I was hallucinating, because I was like flipping papers back and forth.
700.
As I'm reading it, I'm thinking, this is not right, but I'm on the right page, I think. No, I'm not.
Okay.
It's been a long day. Now we have one final administrative motion at the request of the city manager. This administrative motion is to ratify the collective bargaining agreement with the Xenia Police Officers Association. Mr. City Manager.
Thank you, Mr. President. Pursuant with the council's instructions relative to negotiations with our police officers union, staff did approach the union with final terms, and those terms were accepted with in a tenant agreement, which the union did ratify this past Monday. This evening, it is staff's recommendation that council approve a motion to allow me to execute that contract, and we will have a new contract in place with our police officers as soon as that can be facilitated.
Thank you. So a motion to approve the terms and conditions of the contract, please.
So moved, Mr. President.
Moved by Councilman Smith. Second, please.
I'll second it.
Seconded by the Vice President. Discussion or question on this item?
Should also note that attached with the agenda report are all of the specific changes, but again, these fall in line with the instructions that council had provided previously, so we did accomplish what you had indicated we should.
Thank you. Any discussion or question on the motion, please?
Good job.
Seeing none, roll call, please.
Vice President Wallace.
Aye.
Councilman Scrivens.
Aye.
Councilman Lauterbach.
Aye.
Councilman Smith.
Aye.
Councilman Dean.
Aye.
Mayor Mays.
Aye.
President Engel.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you. And finally, under new business, an administrative motion approving the schedule of bills in the amount of $597,099.70. Anything to add, Mr. Finance
I
Director?
have nothing to add.
Thank you. Motion, please.
So moved.
Moved by Councilman Lauterbach. Second, please.
I'll second.
Seconded by Councilman Smith. Any discussion or question on any of the bills, please?
Pay the bills.
Roll call, please.
Vice President Wallace.
Aye.
Councilman Scrivens.
Aye.
Councilman Lauterbach.
Aye.
Councilman Smith.
Aye.
Councilman Dean.
Aye.
Mayor Mays.
Aye.
President Engel.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you. This time, we have no more new business, so we will move to reports of committees. First, I have mayors and managers. Mayor Mays.
Thank you. I attended the mayors and managers, I believe it was this past Wednesday, the 14th. We were at the Beaver Creek Golf Club, and we had several different updates. One was regarding the Ohio Department of Natural Resource, ODNR. They're making some changes to their dam safety project, which is not directly pertain to us, and it's regarding some assessment cost changes, but we did, as a group at mayors and managers, agree to send a letter of protest to ODNR just because of some of the rate structure changes. And then the second item we discussed, we talked about the centralized collection issue, which we've obviously been discussing here at council. We discussed that the pending came out against us, but we did unanimously support that we would be hiring a lawyer to file an amicus brief. That would be at no extra cost to us as part of that organization. There's already funding available for that. Everyone felt that that's going to end up at the Ohio Supreme Court. So we had a speaker, Dr. Tom Hardy. He is the chief of staff at Dayton's VA Medical Center, and he gave a very comprehensive overview of the history of the VA. And that was it.
Thank you very much. Anything for Mayor Mays as city manager for mayors and managers? Seeing none, Miami Valley Regional Planning Commission. Councilman Lauterbach, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. We met earlier this month, but there was nothing on the agenda that directly or indirectly affected Greene County or the city of Xenia. So, but I do want to give a shout, Progress Drive, we're going to start that project soon. Our engineer and his staff, they're very prompt, and I think we applied for that in 2016, that grant. So it takes a few years to get these grants. So it's going to make a big difference, the Progress Drive.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Anything for MVRPC and Councilman Lauterbach, please. Now we'll move to appointed officials' reports and council comments. Mr. City Manager.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just two updates. Piggybacking on Councilman Lauterbach, we will be starting in the next couple weeks the rehabilitation project on Progress Drive. We understand that this will necessarily create some inconveniences for folks during the daytime hours. There will be some lane restrictions. We will be putting steel plates on the roadway during the evening hours to open up the roadway. But again, this will necessarily create some potential delays. It is necessary to facilitate the repair work. So we just ask folks to be patient. Our public relations coordinator will be putting out a lot of information, try to give folks a heads up that's coming, and this is what to expect. So I think that press release should be coming out, if it hasn't already, by the end of the week here. Second, we did want to announce to council that we have set our tentative schedule for our 2018 Neighborhood Night Out events. Strongly encourage the council members to attend these events. They've become very, very good events. Our partners this year, carrying over from last year, include Xenia Community Schools, Jobs Ohio, Greene Memorial Hospital, Central State University, the National Park Service, Greene County Combined Health District, and a special shout out to Xenia Bouncy Castle, who provides the bouncy houses that we bring out. They're a tremendous partner, and we encourage folks to support that local business. The dates, if you want to jot these down, Tuesday, May 15th. That's Tuesday, May 15th from 5 to 7. That'll be at Shawnee Elementary. The second event will be Tuesday, August 28th, again 5 to 7. That'll be at Arrowwood. And the final event on September 18th, 5 to 7. That's at Cox Elementary. Coordinating with the schools and through our public relations office, we'll be sending out reminders to folks in those various neighborhoods to remind folks and let them know to come out and join us. Again, great program. Appreciate the partnership with all these other co-sponsors, and encourage council members to come out and participate in those events. That's all I have this evening.
Thank you very much. Anything for our city manager, please?
What was that date again for Cox?
Cox Elementary, September 18th, 5 to 7 p.m.
Anything for our city manager, please?
Do we have any idea how long it's going to take on Progress? What's the projected finish?
I think it was about 2.5 months, I think, was from start to finish for the whole project. It's a little different scenario out there than we're typically used to because it's a concrete roadway. So what we're doing to have to dig up the areas that need to be repaired, and the repair work itself is a little different than what we would typically do on an asphalt street. But it'll take us through the better part of the summer months.
Thank you.
Anything else for our city manager, please?
So we only had 3 neighborhood nights out scheduled this year?
Yeah, and we also, I should mention too, I didn't, I should have, we do have the First Friday events are scheduled for May, June, and July. Don't have the dates in front of me, but again, it's the first Friday of each of those months. Those are set. We're looking at a coordination meeting in the next week or two to finalize details. But based on what I've seen preliminarily, they've got a very nice schedule of vendors and performers and activities. The car show should be bigger and better than ever. So start praying now that we get cooperative weather this year and can have those events go off without a hitch this year. So,
Thank you. Mr. Finance Director.
Just want to encourage any residents who have interest in the city's budget or finances to check out the city's website, explorexenia.com. On the website, we have our audited financial statements. We have our scheduled bills, links to the Ohio checkbook. We have budgets, the city's budget, the city's capital plan. We explain how city resources are allocated, how the city receives resources, how things like property taxes, the property taxes that residents pay, how those are distributed among the different governmental entities here in the county. And also things like how the city compares to other municipalities as far as water, sewer rates, things like that. Those things have been on our website for quite some time, but actually just in the last month we've created a budget and finance page that puts all of that information in one location and also breaks it out into graphs and other ways that makes it a little easier for people to decipher and define what they might be looking for. So encourage people who are interested in any of that information to go out to our website and check it out.
Thank you very much. Anything for our Finance Director this evening, please?
I just want to say I appreciate the transparency.
Sure.
Thank you.
Anything else? Madam Law Director.
I have one piece of good news I would like to share with you this evening.
Thank you.
Our Victim Advocate Program nominated Judge Murray for a Model of Justice 2018 award that's given out by the Ohio Victim Witness Association. And we received word yesterday that our very own judge was the recipient of that award.
Awesome.
So the night of our next council meeting, the night of our next council meeting, he will be receiving his award in Columbus. It's called a Model of Justice Award, and he was awarded it because of the support he's shown to our Victim Advocate Program.
Very good. Thank you so much, and thank you for submitting him. Anything for our Law Director this evening, please? Seeing none, moving to council comments. Mayor.
Thank you. On Tuesday, March 13th, I had an opportunity to attend the Greene County Engineers Annual Dinner and receive some updates from Mr. Geyer. I believe we talked a little bit about at our last work session. Wednesday, March 14th, they attended the groundbreaking ceremony for the REACH project, and that was a very exciting moment for our city. It was exciting to see so many businesses there, represented there. Our council was well represented. Our city was well represented. The different partnerships. It was just a very positive event. You couldn't help but, at least I couldn't help but smile, I think, the entire time. It was also the same night as mayors and managers, as I mentioned. Thursday, March 15th, I had the opportunity to participate in the 154th birthday celebration of Colonel Charles Young. It was held at the National Afro-American Museum and Cultural Center. There was several significant people there. Mr. Robert Stanton, he's a former National Park Service Director, and Attorney Benjamin Crump. They were both recipients of awards that day, and it was an honor to be a part of that ceremony. And then on Friday, March 16th, I had the chance to be the speaker for Christian Men's Fellowship Lunch. And on Sunday, March 18th, I attended and also took a proclamation for Pastor Walls. It was his 50th ministerial anniversary at the East 2nd Street First Church of God. There was hundreds of people there, the community, not just the Xenia community, but throughout really the state of Ohio, people came to celebrate Pastor Walls and thank him for the incredible service he's doing. You can tell he loves this community. His church was so welcoming to every single person. They fed us this beautiful lunch, and it was an incredible experience. So I'd like to congratulate him. And that's all I have.
Thank you very much. Councilman Lauterbach, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just one item. Lost my train of thought. Been a long day.
I can relate to that.
As can I.
Pass.
Thank you. We can give you a pass and come back to you if it comes to you later on. Councilman
All right.
Smith.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Just piggyback on Mayor May's, I was able to attend the REACH project virtual groundbreaking. I believe Councilman Danny were there too. And we had County Commissioner Anderson was there, and your father was there. I think that was the elected officials. Oh, yes, okay. And former Mayor Bayless was there. And so just very exciting. And they stated that the Dayton YMCA, they haven't built a new facility since 2008, and that the last one was in Huber Heights. I actually thought it was even longer than that. I remember that going up, and that was just a real shot in the arm for Huber Heights. And I'm just really excited that this project is taking off, and proud that the city could partner with that and provide a little seed money to help get that going. And I appreciate the gentleman that you were earlier up here tonight. Thank you for your comments. And I'll be the first one to admit, I think we have some opportunity in our public service department. A lot of us have said that. And we'll work on that. Most of us council members that have been here for a while, our number one priority has always been, as an elected official for me, has been our safety, and that's police and fire. So it does look like a lot of money does go towards that, and economic development. So, public service, we know there's some changes happening in that department, and so we'll continue to work on that, make some improvements in that. And I would like to comment, I brought a little token here. Those that are watching today, and today is March 22nd, so a week and a day from tomorrow is the 31st, and that is the Easter egg hunt. I don't want to take this away from President Engel, because he's going to speak on BRCA, but it's time to start anteing up some baskets. So I know this is really simple. I got this at Dollar General, but you can spend 10, 20, 15 bucks on a basket and just really brighten the life of a child. And I'll let you talk about the time, but the baskets, there's a raffle at the end of the egg hunt, and you're talking 500-600 kids are there, and they get a ticket, and then at the end they draw tickets, and the baskets go pretty quick, almost as fast as the eggs. But I want to challenge you guys to make some baskets and bring them, and I enjoy doing it, and it's just a lot of fun to give back to the community, and the kids really enjoy it. So thank you very much. And we do get a lot of support for that. And I'd like to thank publicly EXAC, Xenia Area Association of Churches, not Xenia Area Community Theater, because sometimes it sounds like EXAC, but it is Xenia Area Association of Ministers and Churches. And really appreciate that they help fund the eggs that the kids get. And we're talking thousands of eggs, and they're not cheap, but really appreciate that. I think it's just a good ministry. I think it's just a good event that we can do in the city that just makes the kids have a great time. So, and then I wanted to mention, I saw maybe a share on Facebook. Your church, Emmanuel Baptist Church, has there was a mobile pantry?
Yeah, right? There's, With God's Grace is an existing food pantry here in Xenia, and they give out food the fourth Thursday of every month. They were recently just doing it out of a parking lot all year round, and so Emmanuel Baptist Church is the new home for the food pantry. So if you would like to come out, it's completely free to the community. It's the fourth Thursday of every month. I believe it's from 6 to 7:30. Not only are there groceries available, but there's also a brown bag lunch/dinner, sandwiches, whatnot, to take with you that evening. So this is a ministry unto itself. With God's Grace Ministry, our church, 1120 South Detroit Street, is hosting the event on the fourth Thursday. So if you are in need of food, please make sure you come.
Thank you very much. And other than that, that's all I have tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Did you come back to it?
I haven't thought.
Not yet?
No.
Okay.
I thought about it.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you for your patience. I'm the senior up here, so you gotta bear with me. I can blame my age on it. But anyway, I just wanted to encourage everybody to shop local. It's very important to our, not only our downtown business, but our business in the whole, because you know, it's very easy to maybe drive somewhere else to buy what you can buy in Xenia. And I just want, Linda's Restaurant moved from downtown to Cincinnati Avenue just recently, and I stopped in there today to have breakfast, and they've done a good job in renovating that building. So, anyway, that's it. Thank you.
Very good. Councilman Scrivens, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Ladies and gentlemen of the City of Xenia, good evening. 2 or 3 things, Mr. President. First is the people who travel around and throw these things onto your driveway. It's a clear and a present nuisance. And I don't know how we can curtail it or regulate it, but nobody picks those things up and read them. It rains on them, they become decrepit, now you got yuck, and it's just a snowballing problem, and I'd like to take a serious look at that. So if this council would, at some point in time, we need to take a serious look at throwing stuff out on people's aprons, and people never pick them up. And I go around on trash collection day in my sector of the city, and I pick them up dutifully in my block. And there's other blocks where it's just out of control. So there's an alley that runs parallel to Stelton Road going downhill from the apartments there at the top, the Meadows, I think it is. That alley is replete with trash. So I don't know if we can get a crew out there, but from top to bottom, that's a half a day's work picking up all of that strewn litter and trash that's there. We need to be on that. That's one place. The second place is at the top of East 2nd Street at North Patton. I believe that's a city-owned property. And the wind has blown from west to east, and the breaker there, and there's a lot of trash that's sitting there. And when you make that turn, it's just ridiculous. Point 2. Point 3 is a vacant lot on Mulberry Street between Lexington and Church. All I can say, if that was one of my lots, I would have got drug out like James Bird in Jasper, Texas. But we need to get somebody past that lot. That's an all-day job to clean that lot up. So those 3 places need immediate attention. Okay, point 1. Point 2, we hear Mr. John Randall here. He came and said that his car, a vintage classic Mercedes, was parked in front of the Maggie McKnight on some night before we had a snow event, and apparently, allegedly, the city plow truck came by and knocked his front bumper off and broke his windshield. And, you know, apparently we've kind of given him the cold shoulder. I think he should be made whole in the case that the vehicle was one of ours, and I'm sure we're insured for types of mishaps. And I think Mr. Randall's case should be reviewed and at least heard out completely and look at the photos and his documentation of evidence. So just want to say, if that was my vehicle, my vintage classic BMW, I'd be here too, seeking to be made whole. So we have to look at that. And then other thing, Mr. President, is the second monthly pickup of bulk. It's coming along, but I still see furniture sitting out almost a month. And just can't have that. Just can't have it. So we have to have our public service people make rounds and see where it needs to be picked up, or when it's not picked up at a certain, is the second week of the month across the city, we're supposed to pick up the bulk. Okay, now, the third week of the month, there's going to be more bulk out there. And that's going to sit until the fourth week, when either we pick it up or we miss it, and it's sitting another 2 more weeks. So I'm looking at stuff sitting 2 to 4 to 6 weeks, and that's ridiculous. So we need to make a better effort at that second time of the month pickup in order to keep the place looking a little better than what it's been looking. And then finally, Mr. President, I had the great opportunity in the interim between our 2 meetings to meet a city council person from Fairborn, Miss Donna Wilson, and I also met her husband, and he's actually the president of the Board of Education in Fairborn, Mr. Andrew Wilson. I also had a good fortune to meet Mr. Darrell McGill, a council member in Bellbrook. I had a chance to sit with our new superintendent of the Xenia City Schools for a few minutes this week, just to hit upon a few things like delinquency, dropout rate, graduation rate, teen pregnancy, those type of things. We didn't go deeply into the issues, but I wanted him to know that us as a council, we're here to support him in all of his efforts to bring Xenia City Schools up to a flying start here. We kind of let the ball drop a little bit after Mr. Morrison left us, and now we got Mr. Lofton here as a full-time superintendent, and we need to support him completely. So I pledged him my support and tacit our support. I also had the good fortune to meet Dr. Warren Wingate out on West 2nd Street. He has a practice limited to periodontics. Well, I tell you, you don't want to go see Dr. Wingate unless you have to. And then finally, I did meet a candidate who's running for state rep, and she's a transplant from Australia, and she's standing for election as a state representative. And I just thought that was good. She said she wanted to make a difference, so she came all the way over here from Australia to make a difference. So I'm asking the people of Xenia, let's make a difference where we live, at least right in front of our house. If there's some trash that blowed after the trash pickup, get out there and pick it up. It's where we live. It helps our property values. And with that, Mr. President, I thank you for your time. Now yield back.
Thank you. Councilman Dean.
I'd just like to thank thank you, Mr. President. I'd just like to thank the people who came up and commented, Mr. Branham.
Yeah,
I think
Mr.
that
Cody
there
Branham,
are
forgot
some,
about him.
definitely some areas where we need to look and see where some wasteful spending can be cut back. And I forgot your name, but you alluded to it, and we should look at that. And
Mr. Randall.
if it was our truck that hit it, and if that was what happened, then we should make restitution. And what was your name, sir?
Mr. Woods.
Mr. Woods. We'll look at that silo. And thanks for coming. You guys have a nice night.
Thank you. Mr. Vice President.
I, too, would like to echo the sentiments of Councilman Dean and Councilman Scrivens for Mr. Randall's Mercedes-Benz, vintage Benz. I don't know whose bailiwick that is that Mr. City Manager, or is that the law director that
It runs through the insurance, excuse me, it runs through, we run through the insurance. I honestly can't speak to the status of that particular issue, but in cases where there's a denial of a claim, we do have the capability of running a review back through the city manager's office, so we'll certainly be in touch to see what
we can be assured that you will be on that before the night's over.
Make your best.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I don't know they'll have a decision tonight, but.
Well, at least get the contacts made
Right.
so that we can get on it.
Right.
Appreciate that. And I'd like to mention that this week is Dawn Dance Weekend at Wilberforce University, and we're expecting a lot of people in town for the Dawn Dance, alumni from Wilberforce. And not only is it the Dawn Dance Weekend, but it's also a special weekend that they're expecting some 500 prospective students and their parents in town this weekend, and they're trying to, for the first time ever, try to get 500 new students into Wilberforce this fall, and they're really expecting a big, as the old folks say, big doings at Wilberforce this weekend. And so if you happen to be in the neighborhood of Wilberforce and see people from Wilberforce, be particularly welcoming, if you would, of the people from out of town to the Wilberforce community, because we're trying to bolster the attendance at Wilberforce. We fell under 500 this semester, and we're trying to get over 800 for the fall semester. So, and we have a new president, of course. Dr. Alfred Pinkard is the new president there, and he's excited and very optimistic. And as an adjunct faculty member, I'm very optimistic as well. I'm very, very excited about Dr. Pinkard there. So, thank you very much. That's all I have. And Did you say
You have a
something?
second?
Mr. President, if I could, I neglected to mention that Dr. J. Douglas Walls had his 50th ministerial anniversary this week. I was in attendance with our mayor. She's a very good representative of our city and our former mayor. So I felt in high timber there. I was with these two characters. But it was very good because he had spent 65 years in the ministry and 50 years at the East 2nd Street Church of God. And I was told that they fed 400 people that day. There were busloads of people from Cleveland and Columbus, and I mean the place was wall to wall, ceiling to floor, door to door people, and that's a good thing. And as you recall, he gives out, his congregation gives out free turkeys just before Thanksgiving, and they're to be commended for their community involvement. They're just some top shelf people over here at the East 2nd Street Church of God. Just wanted to.
And I should mention that the only reason I wasn't there was because my male chorus was in Dayton. We had a date to sing in Dayton, but I was represented by Minister of Music was there, and of course we were in the book. Our church had an ad in the book, so Dr. Walls is just a super special man. Not only he had 50 years at that congregation.
Right.
50 years at that congregation and commuted. He's never moved to Xenia.
Right.
He has commuted from Columbus, Ohio to Xenia all 50 of those years. It's phenomenal.
Thank you very much. For myself, as Councilman Smith mentioned, BRCA has a large event coming up here in the near future, 31st of March. Registration begins at 10 o'clock. There will be a number of different age group, including a special needs group for the children to come and search for eggs that literally litter almost the Shawnee Park.
It's ages 0 to 12.
0 to 12, and there will be a bunch in every area. And then following that, as Councilman Smith mentioned, there will be a basket giveaway, and that's always a highlight. And would encourage everyone, as Councilman Smith has already challenged, please consider donating a basket or two to that. Usually on the order of 40 to 60 baskets are given away after the egg hunt is complete. Also, last week, a number of you may be aware that we met for over 3 hours talking about our streets, receiving a very comprehensive presentation from the city manager and city staff, laying out all of our streets, their conditions, how we go about grading the pavement's condition, other considerations to choosing streets for paving, the underlying conditions of their water and sewer and other types of utilities. It truly is an incredibly complex issue and a very costly one. We had promised the citizens that we would be taking this issue very seriously. At our initial meeting, we've been talking about it for some time. Our first meeting was, of course, a week ago today, and a week from now, we will be meeting again in a special session here at City Hall to discuss our way forward on that. So at this point in time, I would invite anyone who has interest and concern about the streets, once again, you're certainly welcome to come and be a part of our special session. Don't know whether we'll come up with the best or the complete solution at our next meeting, but we will certainly be continuing that conversation, and the citizens are welcome to come and be a part of that as well. And that's all I have for this evening, unless there's something else from any of my colleagues. If not, I'd seek a motion to adjourn, please.
So moved.
Moved by Councilman Latterback. Second, please.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Smith. Roll call, please.
Vice President Wallace?
Aye.
Councilman Scrivens?
Aye.
Councilman Latterback?
Aye.
Councilman Smith?
Aye.
Councilman Dean?
Aye.
Mayor Mays?
Aye.
President Engel?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you.
Good meeting.